Good Friday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and SUVs and motorcycles in Tennessee, the kid, the Kiefer, the food. Wow, what a beautiful Good Friday morning. Isn't that kind of the double standard today? I'm saying Good Friday morning, and it's Good Friday. And wow, look at the beautiful scenery here in Tennessee. So as always, hey, thanks for those tuning in to my channel. Appreciate you subscribing. Appreciate you sharing the channel. Appreciate you commenting on the channel. Appreciate you just participating. And that's just a great thing for me to be able to get up every day and know that I'm talking to others that are listening to me. And hopefully I can relate with you as you can relate with me. That's kind of the goal here with the Ice TV. And just a beautiful Friday morning. So very just blessed that we have such a nice weather here to pick Easter weekend. If you understand Easter, if you're a Christian, that we were blessed as mankind. If you believe in the Bible of the Christianity, then you understand the message there of Jesus being sacrificed and resurrected and for all salvations for us to have in so many ways eternal life, if you believe all that. But this isn't the Christian channel. This is the Ice channel, the internal combustion engine age that wants to talk about all my cars and trucks and enjoy what I go out and do and buy and share the craziness of who I am. And here we are. Pretty interesting how this garage is the emptiest it's ever been since I've been coming down here after I cleaned it all up and really made this kind of my secondary car home, where I used to have a few cars here and like 3-4 bikes over there. But just circumstances and things in my life kind of changed things. So, and there isn't anybody really per se breaking into homes down here. I think maybe people take that conversation maybe the wrong way. There's no major crime in the neighborhood, but yeah, it's like anywhere. There's been some homes broken into, so, but not really anything. As the moment, that's something that's not really going on per se. So maybe the message was delivered wrong yesterday. For those who watch my channel. And I think to myself, what do we talk about? Because we had the sharing conversations, the choice conversations, the history conversations, the missing conversations. So what do I talk about on Good Friday, which is a very spiritual weekend for all of us and for all the kids that have been out on spring break and the Easter bunny and the eggs and a lot of festivities are going on. And so what do we talk about? And I think a good word would be guilt. Because isn't that something that you could maybe resonate with this weekend's Easter, the message in some ways? That kind of gets kind of, the biblical and religious side. And I'm not going to start kind of going that direction of the conversation totally. But at the same time, I thought to us as mankind, as we all know, from the Adam and Eve, from the true beginnings of mankind through the Bible, yes, did Adam or did Eve become the guilty one for not obeying God's command? So, but I think to myself, we live in a society today, I think more than ever, that we have guilt. I think, especially in this country, I think that more than ever, we are in a social environment and just beyond believable where we are, where I think mankind is at guilt, that the underlying message more than ever in recent times is guilt, that you're guilty. And for me, it kind of intrigues me so much. And on my channel, if I kind of get a little too political, it seems to get somebody out there who wants to shut it down. Yet I watch all these other guys on these YouTube channels, like John Williams, who is constantly, bad-mouthing the sitting powers to be in our country. And this guy is a huge, growing YouTuber that has thousands, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100,000 views on his channel. But he constantly has rhetoric of the demise of this country that's never been ever seen. And he point blank blames those that are sitting in power that has created all this havoc in our country. But yet I think if I start going that direction, my channel, I don't think people really want to tune in for that. And I get all that. But if I have just little itsy bitsy parts of my conversation that kind of attack what this government is doing to our country, I think somebody will try to make a claim against my channel. Which, what is that? Is that somebody that's jealous of my channel? Somebody else that wants me not to be building my channel because they want to in some ways copy me. I have no idea. I sincerely doubt that. But anyways, we're not going to go down the rabbit hole with all that stuff. But here's the thing. Here are two STs. It's pretty incredible how I never really planned this per se. But here I bought my daughter a Lowrider ST last July of last year down there in Florida, never realizing that Harley-Davidson would then come out with a CVO Road Glide ST, a.k.a. the Fast Johnny. And I'm so intrigued that nobody's really, per se, talks about the Fast Johnny. Here I've got a Fast Johnny. There's Kiefer, boy. Hey, boy, how are you? Now, don't hit me because I got coffee in my hand, and it'll be all over my camera and face. And there's the kid. Morning. Happy Good Friday. Good Friday. So, anyways, I'm just really taken back on how I got rid of all the raccoon food that didn't get eaten. So they ate of it, most of it, I got rid of it. Because guess who would be eating that? It would be challenging later on. Has he been fed? No. Okay, and he got his food right over there. So anyways, so it's very intriguing to me that never realizing buying my daughter a Lowrider ST, I would have the CVO ST where we have the dual STs. And for the most part, the kind of the same color, which is pretty cool. And I put the Gremlin Bell on last night that my daughter gave me. My daughter gave me a really cool theme Gremlin Bell. You can see it right there. And the Gremlin Bell is all about being gifted from somebody else. Goodness and greatness and safety and love for you and your motorcycle. Because we need all of that when you ride a motorcycle. You can only, every time you get on a bike, pray for the best, and every time you get off of it, thank you, say thank you for the prayers, because as we know, motorcycles aren't the safest things in the world. But anyways, so for me, back to this Fast Johnny, I'm very intrigued that the Fast Johnny, it isn't really referenced that way. Even though I have a Fast Johnny up north, that's the Road Glide, and it's all about the Fast Johnny. But this bike, it's all about the ST, CVO ST. I can't get over how nice this exhaust sounds on this motorcycle with just no, the only thing I did was put slip-on mufflers. And it's incredible on how loud this motorcycle is. It's so loud, I'm not going to even start it up because I think the wife and mother-in-law would be like, what was that all about this morning? So I'm not going to do that. So anyway, so the guilt conversations, I think that more than ever, the Ice Age is in the guilt mode. And I think that the EV age is enjoying that, because for the likes of Elon Musk, that truly believes that but here's the irony to Elon Musk. Does Elon Musk really believe that his electric vehicles are really going to save mankind? Man, I think that's so funny on how Elon Musk operates.
I kind of watched you for a little. I'm just going to be in my truck.
You're going to do what?
You just kind of keep an eye on him.
Where are you going?
In my truck.
Well, what's wrong?
Something.
Okay, well, I can kind of watch him, but I'm making a YouTube channel, so, yeah, I kind of watch him, but here you go. Hey, happy Good Friday, right? The day begins. Keep the kid happy, keep the wife happy, keep the mother-in-law happy. Yeah, I need to go to church, don't I? You need to go to church. Stay around here, Kiefer. So, yeah, this is going to throw off the whole channel, but, oh, well, we'll make the best of it here. Up! Stay around here. I just don't know how my kid thinks it now. I got the responsibility of his dog. Well, she wants to sit in the truck, but whatever. So just put him in the truck with you. I mean, geez, he can live in the truck. So anyways, for Elon Musk, it's just you got to laugh. And how this guy's laughing all the way to the bank. This guy gets all these subsidies from the government to build an electric vehicle. But do you really think that Elon Musk truly believes that in the end that really is going to save the whole world? I don't think he does, personally. But here's the point of it. Elon Musk started the guilt. He started the guilt. But I tell you what, coming down, I just about hit a deer again. I don't understand why Ford doesn't have a protective something over this. Isn't that so stupid that something hit inside that grill in there? That's so stupid. There's no protective, like a mesh, little grill down there. That is just, but yeah, I just hit a little deer coming down. Which would have been, I would have been like, oh my gosh, if this would have, because we had an F450, that whole story, watch my channel, where I destroyed the front end of the F450 white truck coming down here last May or June. So anyways, so for Elon Musk, he's created the guilt factor. He's created the followers and believers that the EV vehicle is going to save the world, and as ICE people, we're terrible people. You see these radical people that protest the fossil fuel industry. You see these radical people that lay down in the middle of the highway to stop people from driving the fossil fuel vehicles. So what's it all about? It's a guilt trip. They're literally trying to create a guilt trip. We live more than ever in our society of the underlying message today more than ever in the social media is guilt, that you're a bad person, sincerely, that you're contributing to the problem of the demise of Mother Nature. And some may be like, that sounds far-fetched. I think if you want to hang out with the green activists, I think you'd walk away feeling ashamed. I truly believe that you'd walk away feeling like you are a terrible person. If you want, could you even imagine me going to one of these green activist agendas meetings and watch these people watch my channel? Oh, they would tarnish me. It would be like a tar and feather for me. They would be like, oh, you're the worst person in the world. You promote all these ICE things. You have too many ICE vehicles. You're a terrible person. That's what I mean. Yes. So in so many ways, you're guilty. But here's what's even more really sad of where we're going in society. You're going to be guilty for all of your actions. What do you mean you're going to be guilty for all of our actions? I mean, I know anybody watching my channel right now, they could, this cracks me up. A guy yesterday watched apparently the missing video. And he said, is this some mindless channel? What is missing? What is the missing? What was the point of missing? And I was laughing because I thought that guy made a great statement. Because in the end, I guess I was missing the whole point, right? I told the guy that. I was like, right. It was a missing conversation. It was all missing at the end. Which I think the person actually listened to the channel and more in depth, they may have gotten a little bit more of the message. And you can't go on forever. I'm not sure if some people say, yeah, you go on forever. You have very long videos. The John Williams guy has a 12, 15-minute video. You have 30, 40-minute videos. That's what's a huge difference in your channel, Mr. Iceman, is people want to watch 10, 12 minutes of conversation and be done. But others do like my long videos, so that's all debatable. The wife and kid, the mother-in-law, and Kiefer walked the cemetery yesterday. Who's over there? What are all the guilty things that those individuals committed in their lifetime that are now buried and no longer here, and you don't even have a clue who they were, what they did? They're forgotten. The forgotten ones. Is that the next conversation? Forgotten conversations? I probably have already had that. So you're guilty. Why would you say you're guilty? Because more than ever, the powers to be are going to monitor every single thing you do. So when you drive down the road in your Ford F-450 truck and the posted speed limit is 70 and you're doing 75, you're guilty of a speeding infraction. So if the government or the powers that be are monitoring and controlling your vehicle, you yourself have just self-incriminated yourself because they have access to all your information. Whoa, hey, the black box. Anybody know that term? The black box? That can be the most beneficial thing in your life or the most conviction of your life in your whole lifetime of being convicted of a charge of your driving behaviors in a major crash. Goes on all the time. The black box has made you guilty. Now, hopefully, in some incidents, you're innocent because it'll show that you weren't the person of the problem. The other person was the problem, and that black box convicted them. But with all the cameras, all the security, think about everything in our life. Most people's homes, my mother-in-law has security, has cameras all over the place. I have cameras all over the place. The vehicles have GPS tracking of where you are. Your phone has GPS tracking. Your phone is listening to you. Your phone is recording everything you talk about, unbeknownst to you. You probably realize all that by now. TV, the list goes on and on and on. So you're guilty. What are you watching? You know, what in the biblical terms, you know, what entertains you? What type of, I never forget walking down the pier down there in Oldsmar, Florida with my daughter when we were down in Florida. And I end up just talking to this guy, hang out on the pier, and we buddied up and talked. Then another gentleman came along, and I just made a smart ass comment to him that his little cooler was his beer. He wasn't going fishing, he was going beer drinking, but just all fun. And we had a lot of great conversation, talk. Yeah.
Do you want me to leave Kiefer down here and here, or do you want me to take him up with me?
Doesn't matter. Were you coming back down?
I'll just take him with me.
Yeah,
I
just
don't
hang.
know how far into your
Okay, I got about another 15 minutes.
Okay, then
Then we're gonna go get breakfast.
okay, so do you mind if I just leave him in here?
It's fine. So he's happy in there. He's happy in the Ram TRX truck. So I'll never forget the gentleman I met. We started talking about the internet. How did the internet evolve? Where it came from? The biggest thing, the immediate word that came out of his mouth was internet was created and became successful because of porn. I was like, wow. Right? Older guy. He's like, yeah, that's the internet. So there you go. So you're guilty. You're guilty if you go to Facebook, you go to Instagram, you go to any social X. What do you see? It's constant pictures of human beings that aren't always dressed, they're not always completely clothed. So you're guilty, right? I mean, in so many ways, you're guilty for looking at that. And that's, if you believe in all the biblical ideas and views and then how we treat each other. And then for a car sales guy, how does a car sales guy feel that he knows that a person paid too much for a car? Does that person feel guilty? I can assure you that there's many challenges in sales, and this is a fact, in sales and business and life. People sell themselves short because they feel guilty from taking money from somebody. That's a huge challenge. That's a psychological challenge just in becoming a salesperson, is negotiating what seems to be a fair price. And in some ways, as a salesperson, you can feel like that person didn't get the fair price. I'm sure that's what's probably some people have tried sales and they kind of have then pushed themselves away from it because they have a guilty feeling that they didn't do the customer a favor, they did a customer the disservice. And once again, that's a very challenging thing as a new salesperson getting into a career to make sales. You don't understand that you may offer them something more than somebody else may, but it's just that's a lot of sales training. That's a lot of, that just kind of gets heavy and deep. You get too down in that conversation. But once again, you have a guilt feeling. If you sell somebody something like a vehicle and you know there's something wrong with it, but you don't want to disclose that, do you have a guilt feeling? Do you feel like, oh man, I kind of just gave that person a problem? That's the number one concern of people buy used vehicles, is you're buying somebody else's problem. Just like you're coming down to Tennessee here, unbeknownst to me, Kiefer had knocked the shifter into neutral in the truck, and I didn't know this. I saw in my rearview mirror my daughter rapidly slowing down and her flashing lights coming on, and I thought, oh, here we go. This is a freaking truck. It's got something wrong with it. And I just bought the problem, even though I don't think so. But that's the most instant thing that you immediately kind of go to is, oh, I bought a problem. Because the other person didn't disclose that this truck had a mystery power off or loss of power or transmission, or who knows. But the good news is it was just Kiefer that had created that problem. There's no problem. This truck is so much fun. And my daughter's so cool because we're down here and she has no problem me driving it. She should let me drive it, but the thing is, she's a kid. She's in love with it. She's excited. And yeah, for me, I feel like I pushed her away from that Challenger? I don't. I felt like this is the better investment. I think long term, this truck's always going to have good value. The Challenger, the Dodge market that overbuilt these things, and this is the thing about the Ram truck, it's gotten so expensive. So somebody in my channel say, well, you're delusional, dude. That thing's going to lose all its value just like everything else. It's not, because it's $125,000 to buy a brand new. So if you're telling me that Ram's going to start offering $25,000 rebates on these, then I'll agree with you. I know Ram just released from other channels heavy discounts on heavy duty trucks. I can't see Ram discount is 25 grand. I can see him discount 10, 15. It's possible if they get heavy on the inventories. 20, I guess anything's possible, but still, you're over $100,000 for a truck. So the point is, this truck is always going to be worth 50, 60, 70, I would say $50,000, $60,000. Very, very conservative. Very conservative. Versus that Challenger, who knows? But we didn't buy it for that reason. We bought it because we want the Ram TRX. And yeah, do I feel guilty for buying that car back and then letting it go? I don't. Yeah, that's the thing. For me, I buy things, I sell things, and I just don't have this attachment to them where I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have never done that. I mean, there's a few cars I kind of have second guess myself, and I've done that. But overall, usually it's bye-bye, move on, and get something else. So for the guilt factor, once again, we're living in today's society more than ever where you as an individual should be guilty for your actions and responsibilities. So why do they have HOAs? I mean, are those like the worst in the world? The Homeowners Association. Can you guys just, I can't stand. The communists down there in Florida, it is the worst. So what goes on? Well, you should feel guilty if your property is not in really prestigious order. If it's not just elegant and beautiful, you are guilty. In fact, even the association will be sending you a letter, email, or actual letter in the mail that you're guilty for infractions on your property. It goes from the property to the roof to the driveway. Yes, this is factual. And there in Florida, if your driveway has too many cracks in it and is in despair of just really looking crappy, you got to put a new driveway in. If your roof is starting to show age, you got to put a new roof on. Yes, you're guilty. You're guilty for your actions. Wow. Can you, it's just it doesn't stop. And then you're guilty in your views. That if you don't agree with the views of others that you feel is so wrong, you're guilty for not believing what is going on is the right thing to do. And that's where John Williams, very intriguing video I watched this morning. I watch him here and there, but not a lot, because it's always about the demise of our country. But at the same time, he promotes how it's the biggest chance ever to become wealthier than wealthy, because you're gonna collect on the demise of others. That's the underlying message of what he's telling everybody. So I'm thinking, wow, I'm gonna put my coffee down here. So the message he had today, and once again, I'm gonna share with you what he told me, because I'm not gonna come across some YouTuber that I have all this information and I found it. I found it on his YouTube channel. So it's John Williams, pretty good channel. He's very informative. So sorry for the delay as I drink my coffee and keep me revved up, keep it going. The Kiefer boy got the whole garage kind of cleaned up, as you can tell. Back in order. Got the back area all cleaned up as I made my mother-in-law and wife and kid a nice dinner last night on the nice grill, the Blackstone grill that I bought down here. I have now 2 Blackstone grills. Bought one down here for this property. Bought one down in Florida for my dad's property. And I don't even have one up north. So I got everything in order back here, where I bought all this nice furniture last summer. And I cleaned this whole area up. I wish I had the before and after. And I brought the little turbo heater out. And we had a great, really nice, beautiful evening. And it wasn't too bad in the temperatures. And so we did have a very enjoyable evening there, which was really good. And my wife and mother-in-law were very appreciative for and I got them some really nice flowers to enjoy the Easter weekend. And why my daughter just didn't tie Kiefer up in this line here? You know what I mean? It's just, it just can't keep track of what goes on and doesn't go on, right? And there's a little turbo heater. These things are cool, but they're noisy as hell. So anyways, for John Williams, he's saying right now, with all this illegal immigration, and this is where it just puzzles me that somebody doesn't call this guy out, because he really goes after this administration of what they're doing to this country and undermine it. So for me, as a YouTuber, if somebody was to file a complaint against me, I would have John Williams to fall back on. I'd be like, whoa, 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 whoa. I just talked about what John Williams talked about, and his channel didn't get a strike against it. So I don't want to hear it, YouTube, because I'm just telling you what I heard from John Williams. John Williams claims all these illegal immigrants, it's a massive plan by the government of our country. It's a massive undermining of the U.S. citizens of this country. People want to hear his stuff. I'm just sharing with you. And in some ways, it makes so much sense. But he didn't take it to the next level, which I think there's another level. So his view is, and he shows you on his computer screen on how legislation is being passed to pay all these illegals. Yes, all these illegals, people heard these stories, are getting paid with debit cards, credit cards, being given free money and free board, free rent, free food, free health care, everything that's going on. These illegals are coming in the masses never seen in modern times in our country. And the government's supporting it. And the government likes it. which is just befuddling, I'm sure, to most people that pay into a tax system where the government's taking all your tax money and giving it to other people who don't even work. But here's the thing. What he's saying on his channel is, and all these illegals are coming here, well, since they're not U.S. citizens, the corporations, big business like Tyson's Food and others can take advantage of these illegals by hiring them, and they get huge tax credits. They can get up to like $9,600 tax credit for bringing this immigrant into this country and putting them on the payroll, but then they get a kickback by the federal government for rewarding them for hiring an illegal into our system. So you say, wow, that's crazy. So, but for the corporations, they see this as a win for them because they're going to bring in cheap labor and they're going to be able to offset all of their expensive U.S. citizen labor costs. Wow. You start to think the green agenda thing that Joe Biden's bringing here to bring all the manufacturing back, is that his angle? Is that Joe Biden's angle, that he can get all this cheap labor from all these other countries like Venezuela? Apparently Venezuela is like the highest amount of people showing up in this country, like 7 million. Apparently Venezuela is just in total disarray, and like 7 million people have already left that country to come here. I could be wrong on my numbers, but once again, John Williams, he's talking about how the government is wanting these people to come here because it's going to force the hand to make these cities reinvent themselves, because the office buildings are in disarray because there's so many people now remotely working where they're empty. So they're going to start taking all these office buildings and converting them into apartments. And they're going to start just remaking the inner cities into more of dwellings for people to live there than actually having businesses set up shop for you to work there. Yes, this is what they're saying this is what John Williams is promoting that's going to happen. So all these illegals are going to come here on the taxpayers' money and be rewarded for coming to our country and get all these incentives and be told to come here for you're going to have a better life. So here's the thing for you as a person. Do you feel guilty if you disagree with that? I mean, as an individual, if you talk to somebody and you say, I don't think it's right that these people come here and take advantage of our system, one person on one side of the equation will be like, why not? These people can't live in their own country safely or affordable or have the life that we have. And so shame on you. You're guilty for being a mean person and not wanting to help others. Wow. Yeah, that is going on more than ever in our country right now. And that's why the illegals are coming here, because more people feel guilty for shaming them than accepting them. So that's why they just keep on coming in the tropes. But this is what you have to think about. As I kind of try to wind this video down, and I got to go get breakfast to the wife and kid and not make a real long video. It's cool out here. I got to get Kiefer out of the truck, and thank God he hasn't eaten anything out of the truck, because that would be devastating. See how he sits in the back of this truck? And that's so cool. He's gotten so well trained. Thank God. Jesus Christ, I'd be pulling my hair out if that dog ate that interior. I had a dog do that. I'm not lying to you. I had a dog. My wife got a stray. We brought him home. And I always have had truck riding dogs. You don't see that on my channel now, but years ago, I had a Dalmatian that used to ride with me everywhere back in the 90s, 2000 years. So I used to always have a truck riding dog in my true beginnings of my business. Always a companion, could kind of watch my back. And so, but I'll never forget my wife wanting this stray dog. And we got this stray dog, and we brought him with, I knew instantly what happened to him. He was a dog that was thrown out in the streets. Somebody took him for a ride, got rid of him. So I always associated riding in a vehicle that he's going for a ride and never come back home. Well, I'll never forget, my wife and I go to a nice restaurant with my Dalmatian and the stray dog. I called him Cassius. That was his name, Cash. So I named him after my telephone business. So my Dalmatian was called Trigger, not like Roy Rogers' horse, but my phones had a trigger switch in them to count the money. And then I named that dog Cash because of the cash that we used to take out of the public telephone business. But I spelled it K-A-S-H, not C-A-S-H. But anyways, so my wife and I go to this nice dinner, great evening, and the two dogs are with us, and my brand new Ram, it was like the 2001 blue Ram 1500, Laramie, beautiful truck, and we go in to eat. We come back out. And my one Dalmatian, you can see as we walk across the parking lot. I didn't have tinted windows back then, believe it or not. And my Dalmatian is looking at his face like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it, Daddy. I didn't do it. So we open up the truck, and I'm not embellishing to you. We open up the truck, and part of the headrest here is eaten. But then when you look in the back seat, the whole back seat bench is destroyed. He has literally eaten all the frickin' foam, the frickin' leather. It's totally destroyed. I look at my life like, oh. So my wife is so cool. She paid to have that rear interior all fixed, that headrest fixed. But the guys at the local Dodge dealership, they would laugh every time they'd see me. Like, hey, you got any dogs? Any dogs riding anything lately? So the wife was cool. She knew I was just heartbroken over that. And yeah, she paid to have the rear seat all reupholstered, redone. Yeah, you know, it was all fixable, but it was just like, it takes a breath out of you. And he was guilty. So Cash was guilty, and he knew it. And Trigger Switch, that's what I called him, he knew he was innocent. He was like, I don't do that, Daddy. I want to be a ride with you all the time. So anyways, here's to wrapping it up. So you have to say to yourself, all these illegals are going to come to this country. They're going to get all the free entitlements at the taxpayers' expense. The corporations are going to enrich themselves even more. They're going to take the foreign, overseas, China business model. They're going to plant it here domestically because the government's going to rewrite the laws and how they can treat people to work for corporations, and so they can make Build Back Better. So Joe Biden's Build Back Better will be his message that all these corporations have all these people now work for these corporations, and all these jobs are created for all the illegals, and that'd be so cool. But I think what's going to play out is, I think the government has come to find out that they don't have enough taxpayers paying into the system to feed their addictions and their guilt of how they take our money. Because the government, in so many ways, is guilty of how they're taking our monies and they're spending our monies. I mean, I think that most people here would say, yes, it seems like that the government has an addiction problem worse than the Iceman of buying cars and trucks and motorcycles and overspending his monies. But the government has, this guy's not even, a frickin' piece of sand in the Sahara Desert compared to the government of our country that just blows out money like you can't believe. And the federal deficit continues to grow like you've never seen. But here's the thing. So what the bean counters have probably figured out, wow, how do we go from 300 million people in this country to 1 billion people in this country? Whoa, wait a second. Hey, man. If we can get 1 billion people, and keep in mind, it's always going to be an age difference of the youth versus the older ones, but if they can increase their tax revenues, so hear me out, for all these illegals coming here, you're going to have your free day run for X amount of time. But then you're going to be forced into the system, like the U.S. citizen system, where you got to have your social security number, you got to pay the taxes into the system, you got to start contributing to the well-being of the country. So the federal government say, this is how we try to cut the federal deficit. Well, I don't think they ever will, but we need to have 1 billion people paying in the tax system. There you go. There you go. That's how we'll create more money for our government to continue to control this country and run this country the way we want it and not by the way the citizens want it. And this just cracks me up about how people operate and think. Because I've owned businesses, we have payroll taxes. Payroll taxes are the biggest thorn in your ass in a business because you have to match certain taxes when you employ people. So you hire a guy for 30 grand, he's really making like 33 grand. He or she doesn't understand that because you have to match taxes. And the numbers may be off a little bit, but your payroll taxes as an employer, you have to pay into more of the system. This is why when you're a self-employed independent contractor, your tax guy tell you you're now at a 50% tax base. Well, why is that? Well, it's because you have to match the taxes that your employer used to pay into your system. Not exactly 50%, but it's a higher rate. But here's the point of my conversation. If they give everybody a raise, if the federal government can force all these McDonald's, Starbucks, Target, Costco, Walmart, they can force the hand that they double everybody's income, their hourly wage. That's a huge profit center for the federal government in the ways it's collecting taxes. Yes, did you just hear me? The federal government wants to have higher wages because then they get more tax money to pay in the system. Hello. Wow. Unbelievable where we are. Oh, car manufacturers. Wow. Hey, let's think this through. Under Joe Biden, everything has gotten more expensive. And you can say the pandemic, I don't care. Doesn't matter. Under Joe Biden, he's the sitting president. Doesn't mean that if it wasn't Donald Trump, it could be Donald Trump. Doesn't matter. All the rising prices and everything, you pay more tax. So this is a huge windfall for the governments, the state bodies, for monies. Because this truck used to be 80 grand, now it's 110 grand. Well, in the state of Florida, I know they have caps on how the monies are taxed. They go from one percentage to another. But the bottom line is the state of Florida is receiving huge amounts of money on the sale of more expensive vehicles. Look at the Visa guys that get more money out of higher priced gas. Whoa, think about that. How they get these 1%, 2%, 3% Visa transactions at gas stations. That's why you see credit versus cash. It's because the guys that process electronic fund transfers, that costs money for you as a owner of a business, and you have to pay into the system. They take it out of your monies. So it can be a 10 cent, 20 cent difference on a charge on gasoline on how it's priced. It was a huge windfall for the Visa. And then once again, sales tax, higher cost of food, greater tax revenues, restaurants. I mean, you can go through the list. So all this inflation, it's just creating more money for the tax man. Wow. And there's even more in-depth conversation, which I'm not going to do because they get too long, of what's going on the Fraud-Star. You ever heard of Fraud-Star? You ever heard of the MGM last year got hacked like never seen before? Have you ever heard of the Com gang? You should look it up. Fraud-Star is a huge growing cyber network that is undermining companies and businesses like never ever seen. You know, they guilty of just really dirty stuff. They are. But anyways, that's it. I'll talk all day. But I got to get breakfast for the wife and the kid, mother-in-law. Keith wants to get out of the truck. Let's get him out, let him run around, have some life. Come on, Keefy boy. Come on out. Come on. Look, he just likes it so much. You want to play? Got a ball. You want to play? I got a ball right here. Looky here. Think that'll get him? Oh, that'll get him. Look at this. He's turned into a slouch. Keith, come on. Wow, he is so happy in that Ram truck. Wow, is that a truck riding dog? I mean, come on. I mean, that's pretty impressive. All right, that's it. That's everybody. So, in our video, hope we get some motorcycle riding time coming in. I don't know. I'm blown away. He doesn't want to get out of the truck, but whatever. I'm blown away. He doesn't want to eat. Some motorcycle time in. I don't know if we get it in today or not. Got some projects here, hunting to-do lists here at the house, and it's still kind of cool. Tomorrow's supposed to be 70s. Sunday's supposed to be a gorgeous day. So maybe we put the riding off till Saturday or Sunday. I don't know. We'll see it. How it all plays out. Always, I really appreciate everybody that chimes in on my channel. I get some regulars that really do interact and appreciate the support. Hope everybody's having a blessed day, and I hope everybody has a good Friday, and I hope everybody has a blessed Easter weekend. If you don't watch my channel from now until the first next week or whatever. But we've had a great week in conversations, I think. Even me traveling, a little more challenging, but I made it. So I did make it work. And there's where we'll be on Sunday at church, an observance of Easter Sunday. So that'll be really fun. And they'll probably wonder what happened to me because I haven't been there since like June of last year. I'm like, what happened to that guy who used to come here? So that'll be nice and exciting too. So once again, God bless, stay safe, and have a great Good Friday.